We're talking about an announcement made today about a team of investigators, the government are saying, which will turn the table on fraudsters. It's a new action to tackle fraud and to stop scamming.
Yeah, that's right. Often exploiting vulnerable people. Here to tell us more about it all is the Minister of State for Security, Tom Tugendhat. Good morning to you. Listen, this is hugely costly.
Morning, guys. How are you?
£7 billion a year. This is costing the economy and affecting 1 in 15 of us. We can see the reasons why you want to clamp down on it, but how are you going to do this practically?
Well, look, there are three things we're doing. The first is we're blocking the fraud sites. So as you know, there's many sort of scams that are coming to you through text messages and emails, and we're closing them down. We're working with the tech companies. We're making sure that they know their responsibilities and know the consequences if they ignore them. And we're making sure that we stop those sort of cold calls and those spoof text messages that pretend to be from somebody else. That's the first thing. The second thing we're doing is we're making sure there's more ability for the police to pursue fraudsters, and that's where the National Fraud Squad, with 400 new investigators and a new National Fraud Intelligence Unit, comes in. That's a huge development. And the third thing we're doing is we're empowering people. Look, programs like yours are incredibly important in stopping fraud because you help inform people about the kind of attacks that may come to them, the kind of text messages, the kind of emails that they could get that might convince them to click on a link or to hand over money that they really shouldn't. And so we're working on all three of those areas, and I think all three together are important.
But Tom, only yesterday I got a text message, and honestly, I don't know whether it's from my bank, I don't know whether to click on the link or not.
Scary.
Because everything seems very convincing, and my point is, I think it's admirable if you can do what you're doing, and if this actually works, brilliant. My doubt is, how could it possibly work? How can you ever get ahead of these gangsters?
Eamon, look, your story just there is exactly why I'm doing this, is exactly why I'm taking fraud so seriously. Because you should not click on that link. Absolutely do not click on that link. First of all, if you want to get in touch with your bank, get in touch with your bank. Don't think that your bank is getting in touch with you. You get in touch with them. If you get a phone call, put the phone down and ring back the number that you know. It'll be on the back of your bank card, it'll be on the bank's website, or it'll be in the phone book if you're a little bit older than some. And so look, use the established routes to get in touch with your bank. Do not click on links like that. Secondly, we're working to make sure we close down these routes. You know, sadly, Eamon, quite a lot of these scams are coming from abroad, so we're making sure that you cannot spoof. We're working with Ofcom on this to make sure you cannot pretend to be a bank or HMRC or a company and send out text messages pretending to be somebody else. And the next thing we're doing is we're stopping these so-called SIM farms. These are these organisations that can send out hundreds of text messages in a single batch. We're stopping all of that. Now, all of that is to do with blocking, and that's really important. But we also need to inform, and that's why thank you very much for raising that, Eamon. We shouldn't be embarrassed about this. Sadly, scams and frauds are affecting people. You don't have to be vulnerable. You don't have to be a tech novice. Anybody can be a victim, and sadly, 1 in 15 of us are.
Where's the money coming to fund this new National Fraud Squad of 400 specialist investigators with this intelligence-led approach?
So we've set aside £400 million to deal with economic crime, and I think that's really important. 100 million of that is going into these new National Fraud Squad investigators, and of course we've increased the policing priority to make sure other police forces or police forces around the United Kingdom are focusing on it as well. We're also setting aside £30 million to refresh Action Fraud and make sure it actually does what it should do, which is tracking frauds and making sure that we connect victims with the police and making sure we keep victims up to date.
Tom, as an ex-military man, I just want to echo this through you as well. We had that security crisis last night with the guy throwing the shotgun cartridges into Buckingham Palace, and he's since been arrested. Just a shout out to all the men and women who are keeping us safe and who plan to keep the public safe over the next few days. But it's a heck of a job, it's a heck of a responsibility, supervising hundreds of thousands of people and yet keeping them safe as well. The public surely have a role to help the security forces in this as well, don't they?
Absolutely, and Eamon, thank you very much for that. I know that officers around the country will have heard that. Look, a lot of the focus is quite rightly where you are on Buckingham Palace and they'll have seen the fantastic bit of policing last night where the police responded incredibly quickly, incredibly appropriately to that incident. But you and I both know that this isn't just about Westminster, it's not just about Windsor. There are events going on in Belfast, all across Northern Ireland. There are events going on in Scotland and all across England and Wales as well, where people are going to be celebrating. Look, I'm going to be at a street party on Sunday with my local community. I'm sure many of us are going to be celebrating in small and big ways across the whole of the United Kingdom. This is a wonderful moment for the whole of the United Kingdom. If you're a royalist, it's a chance to celebrate our new king. And if you're not, well, look, it's a chance to get together with the community and celebrate the UK. So we are working with intelligence agencies and police forces across the country. And I can tell you, Eamon, this has been months in the planning. And many people are working 24/7 to make sure we deliver what we need to see, which is a safe, a secure moment of national celebration, showcasing Great Britain and Northern Ireland to the whole world.